Hi and welcome to an Elite Gaming Raid Guide. In this raid guide we'll be covering the tactics for the second boss of the 8-man Denova operation on story mode, Firebrand Stormcaller. First of all, before we get into the combat in the video, we'd like to explain the key mechanics and the key phases. When you first do this boss without looking at any tactics, you'll think that mechanics come very randomly. What we really need to emphasise here is that there is two key phases to this fight, and it's all about rotating between these two phases, and mechanics do come in a set order. So first of all, phase 1. When you engage the boss, there will be a mortar shot and red circles will be put all over the room. As long as you're out of the red circles, you won't be hit by the mortar. It's as simple as moving out of the red circles. Red circles will only land in the areas where the boss platform is not, so it should only affect ranged DPS and healers, and not your tanks or melee DPS. The second mechanic to note is a yellow circle that will be put onto a random raid member. If you get this yellow circle and it will only affect one person at a time, just keep moving and run around until the yellow circle drops off you. Wherever it drops, it will drop then heavy damage on top of there, so just keep moving. Once it drops off of you, you're safe, so that's pretty easy to manage as well. The third mechanic is the real killer mechanic. We call it like a lightning spear. There is a proper name for it, but we're not one for conventional styles. This will target again one person randomly during the fight throughout phase 1, and it'll keep on doing it randomly more than once. If it hits you, first of all you get an explosion on your head, then a lightning dome will form around you. You need to move out of this fast. If you stay in it for 2 to 3 seconds, you'll be on 30% health within no time and potentially dying. Again, just get out of that and that mechanic will stay where it is. Those 3 environmental mechanics will happen throughout phase 1. Now phase 2. Phase 2 is a very simple phase. The bosses will say engaging defensive mode. When this happens, shields will spawn on the left and right of the 2 bosses. The group handling the left boss should run under the shield on the left, which is the shield's yellow and it'll be full of adds. The group on the right boss should run under the right hand yellow shield. There'll be adds in both shields. You need to take these out with single target DPS. There will be one add that's a shield generator with around 10k health. Do not DPS this, as it will take out the shield that is shielding you from room-wide AoE damage doing 4k per hit. If you take out the shield early, we can near enough guarantee you're going to wipe. The only person who will not go in this shield is the tank who is tanking Stormcaller. The reason for this we will explain now when we go into the video. Okay, now looking at the actual fight mechanics in action. First of all, one tank will take Firebrand on the left and one will take Stormcaller on the right. You should rotate these round 45 degrees so they are not facing your DPS or healers. Then it's just a simple case of taking the damage. As you've seen, the mortar shot has now gone off, and other mechanics will be going off in the background that you'll see later. You now see Stormcaller casting double destruction. This is a key mechanic. Double destruction must be taken by 2 melee DPS, or a DPS and a healer, or even 2 ranged DPS that are around Stormcaller. The way this mechanic works is it will hit the 2 closest people towards the front of the boss. So what needs to happen when the boss channels double destruction, the tank then needs to rotate them round to the DPS as seen here. The DPS take the double destruction and receive a debuff which reduces armor to 0, and the tank then rotates the boss back round by taunting it. After the second double destruction in phase 1, you'll see here that you transition into phase 2. Now here's where the Stormcaller tank stays out of the shield that his teams run into. You should try and stay in healing range where possible, if not use a med pack or a health top up. As seen here, I'll do loops around the room and try and get close to our healer who's in the circle, in the shielded dome, while the group take out the adds. Then we go back to the boss. There will be 8 lightning javelins thrown down on the tank before that phase is over. Then it's just a case of going back into phase 1. So again, a mortar shot goes off, and then you carry on tanking the boss. A double destruction goes off, which is rotated to the side, absorbed by the 2 melee or the 2 DPS that are hitting Stormcaller, and then the boss rotates it back. Then you'll get the second double destruction and go back into phase 2. And that's all there really is to phase 1. Now we'll talk about the tank who's tanking Firebrand. Firebrand, after the first double destruction on Stormcaller, will cast something called Incinerate Armor on the Firebrand tank. This will reduce the Firebrand tank to 0 armor. Therefore, this is the point that whoever's tanking Stormcaller should call that the Incinerate Armor has been cast, and then the tank tanking Firebrand should use cooldowns to mitigate damage, and healers should be aware that heavy damage will be following, as that tank is now on 0 armor. Now a few tips while you watch the video for ranged and healers. Ranged should not be on the actual platforms where the bosses are, they should be on the ground. On the ground, obviously, ranged will have to keep out of mechanics. These mechanics are things such as mortars, the yellow circles we've talked about, and the lightning domes. The melee and the tanks, and if you want you can also put a healer on the Firebrand platform, will all have a reduced chance, not 0 chance, a reduced chance to be targeted by the red, yellow or blue mechanics that we discussed earlier. It's therefore advised that you keep around 3 people on the floor, so there is a good chance that you don't get these mechanics on the platforms. The way we do it is we put 2 melee DPS on Stormcaller with the healer of Stormcaller on the floor, and then on Firebrand we try to put the tank and the healer of Firebrand on the platform and the 2 ranged DPS on the floor. That way most of the mechanics will end up not being on the platform and be handled by ranged DPS or the 1 healer on Stormcaller. That's about all there is to this fight. Be aware though that the one final point is both tanks must go down together. So make sure that you manage your DPS so that they die within a couple of percent of each other. When one tank goes down, you have between 3 and 5 seconds before the other one enrages. Don't panic too much, it happens in this video, but all the DPS are up and simply jump across and take it out ASAP. We wish you the best of luck and hope that this video helps. This really is down to your 2 tanks. It's all about rotating on Stormcaller, and that is your primary tank who has to spin appropriately and get the double destruction onto the melee DPS every time, and then ensuring that your Firebrand tank pops cooldowns after the first double destruction. Wish you the best of luck, and please ask us if you have any questions. We're 27. Executes are up on my target.
19.
Defensive phase, out you go. Good job, Mitch.
Jabba help the other mob when we get out.
What do you want me to do?
Attack the other boss.
Okay.
That's some good shielding, Cine. We should be good, to be honest. Pretty close, to be honest. Sorry, there's one on the bar. Found it. Oh, what the hell?
Be careful, be careful.
Move round, guys. Alright.
Mitch, get out of the area. It's unhealable.
Okay, it's alright. Double destruction coming in. It's okay. Good, we recover now.
What?
11%.
12%. Whatever we do, don't take them down before the next set builds, alright?
Alright. Sinian on your side.
5%.
Jabba.
Do not take down. Do not take down.
Stop DPS.
2%. No,
4%.
burn. No, do not burn. Do not burn. Double
Oh,
destruction.
there's a bleed on it.
3%.
Now. It's gonna die. It's gonna die.
Ours is gonna die. Burn. Pop everything you've got.
Nice.
Great work. Great
Let's make
work.
a photo.
Yeah, we need a photo and the time. Take out the ads at the side.